Daredevil Episode-3. I mean, Jesus Christ. What were we expecting out of it? Were we expecting some fights? Were we expecting some actual, I don't know, anything out of it? You know what makes me feel like they don't know what they're doing? It feels like they originally took their storylines that they said they scrapped, and instead of actually just scrapping them, they just put parts of them into this storyline and just axed them in front of us. They were like, oh, here's characters you might like. Here's characters, whatever. Like they threw in Foggy and Karen back into it, and they were like, let's get rid of him. Now they're like, oh, White Tiger, he could be interesting. And the only thing I see interesting about White Tiger is like they barely shown any of his fight scenes. So is he gonna come back? Maybe does his amulet actually give him resurrection skills in this? I have no idea. If so, I mean, a headshot, obviously, in Disney Marvel and Disney in general, like obviously things that would normally kill somebody is thrown out the window. That shit's gone. Like you don't care about any of that. It's like, oh well, that person's coming back. So he puts on his his white ranger suit. I mean, this suit, in all honesty, is not great. It's pretty awful. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and like it's actually form fitting. He looks like he actually looks dope because the suit is not great. But this whole episode was like getting him like almost a redemption arc for something that we've only seen him go through in like a couple shots from like a 7-Eleven footage. It is ridiculous. It's not interesting. It's 40 minutes of kind of nonsense. It's just like the other thing they keep doing is everything in this series so far. It happens like that. It happens so quickly. Oh, I'm running for mayor. Ta-da! At the end of the episode, I'm mayor. Oh, I'm going through a trial. Ta-da! The trial's done. These things are like either month-long events to like week-long events, like a murder trial. It's going to take a minute. Like all this stuff takes a little bit of time, especially like going through a mayor campaign and all that. Like that takes a while. So it does do the time jump where he's like, oh, this is a year later. Sure. So we know that it's been a year later. But how long has it been since Kingpin wanted to run for mayor? How long has it been since the White Tiger's gone through this? What is the time differential here? I do not know. Like they make it seem like it's just been a couple days, which is insane. They're just like, oh, this happens and now this happens and now this happens, instead of this happens because this happens because this happens. Like if you guys ever seen that South Park thing, whatever, like they make it make sense there. And I can follow what's going on simply because it's so ridiculous and so sped up that it seems ridiculous. I guess maybe people can sit there and be like, "Oh, it's comic book like." We don't know the connotation in comic books or whatever, or the timeline of comic books. I don't feel like it's doing that. I would like it to be more interesting, and then at the end of it, obviously, it shows a guy who's in a Punisher vest who kills the White Tiger, and it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Is that actually the Punisher doing that? I don't think it's going to be the Punisher doing that. My guess overall is that there's a group of people who have adapted the Punisher symbol to them being corrupt people. And they assume that because he's an ex-cop or whatever, like, oh, we can be corrupt too. We just do it like a little bit more openly. Like there's a straight up guy with a tattoo on his neck with the Punisher symbol. And there's also the thing with the whole Marvel bullshit going on where it's like people who wanted to be into this stuff or liked it, like they ostracized them and they got rid of that. They're like, if you're into this, that's a no-go. So I have no idea what all that's about. I'm assuming the next episode, I have a feeling it'll be also kind of a slow burn There will be a little bit going on. One of the next episode is called like See Semper something, which sounds very military, which sounds right up Punisher's alley. So Punisher might finally come in, and we might get some answers. I don't think we're getting any answers in the next episode. I think we'll get answers in 5 and 6, which is going to be a 2-episode release, and then we'll see what actually happens. But this episode was overall pretty damn boring, and it was like, hey, let's get this guy off of his trial and everything, and then let's just kill him. If that's all that this is, and that's all that this comes out to be, like, what a terrible episode. Other than that, the episode is just boring on its own merits. Like, it's just a boring episode. It is so dumb. He contradicts himself. It's like you can almost see how they had other ideas going on, and then they tried to retroactively come back and clip those ideas, and it's very obvious. But I would say overall, I did not enjoy this episode. Like I was writing around like a 7 out of 10 for the overall series. This episode brought it down to like a 6 for me. And I hope it doesn't keep going lower, because the other thing about this episode is, like, even though sure it shows a cliffhanger on on the Punisher aspect of it, like, I don't care. Like, I kind of don't care. I'm like, okay, I have a feeling I'm going to be right with some of my guesses, or at least close to right with it, because Punisher is who put, like, we all know these characters to a certain extent. Shit, we know him from the last TV show that was actually, this should be either episode, or this should be season 4. I kind of know what to expect. I'm assuming I'm going to be either pretty right or pretty damn close to right. There's going to be some bullshit going on. But I don't know. I was not excited about this episode, and nothing about this episode made me be like, I need to watch the next one. It makes me understand the ratings of the show right now. And if it keeps going like this thing is going to tank even harder than it already is. Even though, like, the few people that are watching it, apparently, because it's getting lower ratings than some shows that we already didn't like from Disney Plus, like Acolyte and whatever. If it keeps going lower and lower, like this thing is gonna fade into existence, which kind of sucks, because, like, yeah, we want Daredevil back, we want him in a cool capacity. This is apparently not the way to do it. Like, you get, in 3 episodes, you get like 2 decent iterations of Daredevil doing Daredevil stuff. Like, he's not even Daredevil yet again. And he's like, oh, I have to become a hero again. And it's like, we've already seen that. We've already seen that again. I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully they bring it back around. People have said that it's a slow burn and maybe things coming back around. I don't have high hopes. I mean, if they do it, great. But it's like, you're going to bring, by the time they get to the point where it brings it back around, you're going to bring a show that's going to be a 3 out of 4. 3 to 4 out of 10 back to what, barely a 7 if you're lucky. Like, come on. I can't imagine good enough scenes that it's like, I'm back on board. But we'll see how it goes. This episode was extremely underwhelming, and I thought it was dumb overall. But let me know you guys' comments. Check it out if you guys are interested. Have fun with it, I guess. But anyways, you guys have a good one. Peace out.